y'all. Welcome to Criminally Creative, a channel about my various creative endeavors. Today is Friday, November 10th, 2023, and this is episode 50. I'm Susan. You can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle and on Instagram as Criminally Creative Podcast. This channel is mostly these days about cross-stitch, but there is some knitting content, and occasionally there are other crafts that I dabble in or decide to try out for a change. So anyway, if you're new here, I appreciate you checking me out. If you're coming back again, I appreciate you returning. Hopefully you'll find something you'll like. If you do like it, I appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and do all the fun things. And I guess that's about it. So we'll get on to it. It's been not quite 3 weeks since my last video, which is pretty good for me. Moving into the Hearsay portion of the program. My last video was right after I had gotten back from what I was calling my senior tour 2023. I did one more video after that was a recap of that senior tour. And then I had to go back to work on Tuesday, the 23rd, 24th, whatever that Tuesday was of October. After a nice almost 3 weeks off of work, I came back into the last little bit of the redistricting process. I work for the North Carolina General Assembly, and they were finishing up redistricting again. Excuse me. And I am usually involved in that process. I had missed most of it because of my vacation, but I did help out the last couple of days a little bit, and then finally they got done and they actually adjourned, which was very nice. Of course, they're coming back in every 30 days or so, but you know, for the most part, the worst of it is over for the year. We'll see, we hope. So anyway, since then, things have been relatively quiet. You know, still have a little bit of work to do. It never completely goes away, but it's not as crazy as it has been. And the nice thing is, when we get into the quieter interim periods, we're allowed to work from home a couple days a week. So I've been taking advantage of that. And that's really about it for Hearsay, other than went to a UNC football game last weekend. We were playing Campbell University, which is where I went to law school. But Campbell University didn't even have a football team when I was in law school. So that was a little odd. I mean, I was still pulling for Carolina, not Campbell. And we beat them handily. They're a much smaller school. They're not in the same division. It was a non-conference game. So if we had lost, it would have been really sad, just because of the pool that you're pulling from. So anyway, and I've got another game. The reason I'm recording on Friday today is because, one, it is a state holiday, because tomorrow, Saturday, is Veterans Day in the U.S., and so we get the state holiday on Friday. Tomorrow is the Carolina-Duke game, which is probably our biggest rivalry. It is at Carolina. It's also homecoming, and I will be going to that, so I wanted to get this recorded today. But anyway, that's about it for Hearsay, so we'll move on into the crafting. First up is verdicts, and I have one verdict to show you this month. This is May Quaker by From the Heart Needle Art. I have been doing this series as a part of 7 on the 8th for Julia, my friend Julia, who will be turning 70 on December 8th. And I try to finish these up by the end of the month. I didn't quite make it in October, but I finished this up the first couple of days in November. So this is the May Quaker. Again, it's From the Heart Needle Art. This is on 40 count Barefoot Needle Art's Sandy Toes. And you'll see another one of these started later in the program. And that is all we have for verdicts. So we'll move on to court is in session. First up in court in session is my knitting. A couple things to show you. I have worked a little bit on my socks, but not much, so I didn't even grab them on my pocketbook to show you. So once they're a little bit further along, I'll show you again. I did work a little bit more on my ladybird wrap. This is in a fat squirrel bag. I'm not sure how much more I got done. Matter of fact, I need to put, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put a marker for where I am now so that next time I will know how much progress I made. Still working on the middle of this shawl. So that's where I am. I am past the halfway point. Like I said, I'm not sure. I know I've done, I mean, just this week I've done a few more rows here, but I'm not sure how much more I'd done since the last time. I can't remember how much I worked on it. That is being knit on, sorry, that's a pattern by Joji Locatelli. I'm doing that out of Suburban Stitcher sock, and I'm knitting that on a US 4 3.5 millimeter needle. And then my new knitting start is also in a Fat Squirrel bag, a bigger sweater size bag. I think this is what she calls her Erin sweater size bag with national park things on it. I showed you, I think it was in the senior tour recap where I showed the stash that stuff I had bought at SAF, the yarn. And so I started the Stennis sweater, which I have a picture of, but it's black and white. It's just a pullover with some texture here at the bottom and a little bit in the arms. It's got like a mock turtleneck. I may change the neck of it. I haven't decided, but I cast this on finally yesterday. I did a gauge swatch earlier this week. I'm making this out of deep dyed yarns in her steel base, which is a DK, and the colorway is Mirror. It's a blue-green. And I started this last night. It's top down raglan, so far I don't have very much. Just a little bit. That's the front. Doesn't look like much. But again, I'm going to put a progress marker on here so that next time I will be able to show you how much progress I've made. I'm hoping to, I haven't knit really regularly in a while as far as getting things done. I'm trying to get my mojo back. I love the cross stitch, but I've gone so heavily into cross stitch, I'm not getting the knitting done. And not that there's any requirements or deadline on any of it. I just don't want to abandon knitting. And I really love having hand knit socks and sweaters. So I have abandoned most of the previous sweater projects I'd started with the exception of one, but it's a fingering weight cardigan and it takes forever. So I decided that if I started something in DK or worsted weight and it went faster and I actually got it done, maybe I'd get my mojo back. Excuse me. So that's what that is. And that's really all the knitting for this time. So we will move into the cross stitches, which is the bulk of what I have been doing. And I have a few whips that you have seen in progress before. And then I have a lot of new starts again. It has been Start-A-Palooza around here all the time. And as I've mentioned before, I'm planning in 2024 to be a little more controlled about my numbers of starts. So in my brain, that has meant I have to start everything, but I'm actually having fun doing it. So that's the important thing. So first up is in a brass button Grinch bag. This is Winter Wonderland. Sorry, something's caught my zipper pull. By Dorothy Kanzi. Did I write that down? I don't think I wrote it down, but it's Dorothy Kanzi. I have this on, you can get this on the Historic Meister webpage, or through the Silk app, which is their app, which is what I have done. And so I'm doing this on the Silk app. I will put a picture here of what it will look like when I finish. And I'm going to, I didn't get any comments on whether or not you liked or disliked the before and after pictures being inserted afterwards. So I'm going to keep up with that rather than trying to remember, trying to fit like the before picture here and then you not having anything to compare with. So here's where I am on this. I'm doing this on 36 count light mocha. I started this on November 2nd, 2020. And since you last saw it, I have put an additional 1,027 stitches in it. which means I got a total of 2,426 stitches in October, and I'm now at 67.3%. So I got a lot of that middle row done in October and started outlining that bottom row. So that is put away for the year. I'm still working on my 2024 goals, but I think I'm going to really try to get that one finished in 2024. And that was my second October whip go call that I had not completed the last time I recorded. This is in a bag by Cricklewood Crossing. And this is September Sapphires by Carolyn Manning, which I also have electronically. It will look like this when it's finished. And this was my full coverage focus for October. And this is where it currently is. Since I last showed it, I think I showed it to you last time I did. And I did another 967 stitches for a total of 2,007 stitches in October, which puts me at 7.8%. This is part of her Shooting Stars collection. And I just remembered something I need to make a note of. Just thought of something I might need to show you, that some digital, I can't remember. I was looking at her digital patterns the other day because she had a sale, and I can't remember if I bought any more. So before I get to stashing for retirement, I need to look that up and see. Anyway, so that was the remnants of October. Now we'll move into November. This is a bag by Creative Carol Designs. Butterflies on the front. This is her medium full fabric bag. And this is a peacock, a unicorn, a badger by Scarlet House. I started this on April 29th of this year. And I think I said this is my full coverage focus for November. I've got a threaded needle hanging out in here because I'm not done with it for the month. I have put, so far this month, I have put in 1,000 stitches on this. This is on 40 count Atomic Ranch in Mellow Stone. And I've put 1,000 stitches in this month so far, which puts me at 1.6%. And my goal for full coverage each month is to get at least 2,000 stitches on it. So hopefully we'll get another 1,000 in there before the end of this month. And then my first whip go call for November is in this brass button bag with the llamas on it. This is Sleepy Hollow. See if I find the right angle to not have so much glare. Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. I am doing this on 28 count Picture This Plus. Sorry, my ring is sticking to the magnets on my thing. 28 count Picture This Plus in Nocturne. I'm using the called for anchor floss on this. And I have put in 1,000 stitches this month so far. I'm currently, according to markup, I'm at 26.8%. I think that's probably a little high because there is a good bit of back stitch in the bottom here that markup is not counting, I don't think. So it's probably, I've probably done a little less than 26 point whatever I said. So, but anyway, this one actually, when I work on this actually seems to stitch up pretty quick. So we'll see how much further I get this month. My goal was 10 hours. So, and I think I've done right under 5, not quite 5 so far, I think. And then in this bag from Sherry So Sweet is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I do a monthly Zoom with Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. This is what Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow will look like when it's finished. And last night was Hawk Run Hollow Zoom night. I started this September 2nd of this year, so I'm still working on the first block. And it's a giant piece of fabric. I'm doing this on 40 count fiber on a whim heather. 1/2 with the DMC. And this is where I am. So last night I just did 362 stitches. So just a little bit of progress on that one. And let's see, now we enter the new starts. As I said, it's been Start-A-Palooza around here every day, all the time. And I have a list of things that I want to get started before the end of the year. Excuse me. I'm getting a little bit of extra stitching time these days because of being able to work from home a couple days a week. Just means I don't have to do my commute. So I can usually do a little bit of stitching after I stop working before my husband gets home, and I do, we do dinner and all that stuff. So I'm getting basically about an extra hour a day due to not, well, I'd get 2 hours a day due to not have commuting, but the other hours in the morning, and I'm using that to sleep. So an extra hour stitching time a day. So anyway, this first new start is in a bag that Kelly from Pages and Stitches gave me at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. She has started making her bags with the zipper at the top. And so far I like that. If I might need to figure out how to start doing that. I don't know. I'll have to make my brain work to make the zipper go up top instead of on the front of it. This is Winter Kitty, which I showed you last time as a purchase and stashing for retirement. I'll put a picture here of what it looks like because I have it digitally. This is a pattern from Artisy. It is a full coverage piece. I started this on October 27th. Just doing it on 25 count easy grid. I have done 601 stitches on it, and that is 1.7%. Not quite. It's a little bit further over here to get the full width. The way I had it in the Q-snap when I was working on it, I couldn't quite get over there, but I'm almost all the way across the top. This is not a huge full coverage piece. Next up is in this bag that I bought at the Stitch New England Retreat by, I think it's called Lumi and Pie. I think there's a name on here somewhere. There it is, Lumi and Pie, yes. And this is called Double Dutch Sampler. I will put a picture here of what it will look like. The pattern is by Sampler Cove Designs. I have this from an older issue of The Gift of Stitching, which I bought all of their digital issues as a bundle. This was a couple years ago. I think you can still get it, though. I would just say, yeah, Google The Gift of Stitching, and it was like a bundle that you could The Gift of Stitching is no longer published, but there is a bundle you can buy of all the back issues of the magazine, and that's how I have this. Now, I don't know if it is available otherwise, elsewhere. So, anyway, I'm doing this on 36 count antique white. I started this on October 28th, and I'm doing it with the called for Gloriana silks. And I have done 515 stitches, and that is 2.7%. So that's where I am. This is the first time I've used Gloriana, and so far I'm liking it. Next up is in this fancy Amazon bag. This is a small project that I'm thinking I will finish soon, so I didn't bother giving it a fancier fabric bag. This is Quaker Moon by Bent Creek, which I purchased at Annabella's on my senior tour. And I started this on October 31st. This was my Halloween start. I'm doing this with all the called for, I think it's all DMC. Yeah, it's all DMC. And I'm doing this on 18 count Ada. Picture This Plus in the Fog colorway. And that is, I've done 956 stitches, which is 57.4%. So that's a little over halfway. So I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to try to finish it this month. We'll see how things go. Just because it's small and quick and can be done. So and my next new start is in this Sherry So Sweet bag. Nice fall bag. This is Midnight Watch by Blackburn Designs. I am not doing the alphabet, so I'm going to pull, I am going to do the date and my initials down here, which I will center more on that line and pull that bottom border up so that it'll just be one line of the date and initials right under the house and the bottom border. So I'm cutting out the alphabet. I am doing this on 32 count Atomic Ranch in the Pampas Reed color. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's the top, and because even though I've done 500 and some stitches, I haven't. So I've started the border and done started a little bit of the moon. That moon's big, so I wanted to get started on that. Like I said, that's 556 stitches. That is about 5.10% of what I'm doing based on my estimated number of stitches, not counting what I'm cutting out. So next up is in a bag that I made with sloths, almost glowy sloths. This fabric, excuse me, Cary Quilting Company in Sanford, not in Sanford, in Cary, does a mystery fabric challenge every year where they, what do they call it? They call it challenging fabric, where they pick a fabric that is challenging to work with, not necessarily ugly, as you can see, because this was the challenge fabric this year, and I love it so much that I just made project bag out of it. I made one for my friend Peggy too. And I always buy the fabric, but I never do the challenge. Usually because I'm just not with it. This year, because I love the fabric too much, I didn't want to cut it all up. I wanted a project bag out of it. But the challenge is to make a quilt using at least, I think you get a yard of the fabric and you have to use at least a quarter yard or a half yard of the fabric in the quilt. And of course, people do smaller quilts. Most people don't do full bed-size quilt. Excuse me. But anyway, yeah, so the challenge is to use the fabric in a quilt. And you obviously add other fabrics to it. But this was this year's fabric, and I loved it too much to cut it up in little pieces. Even assuming had I been able to get coordinated enough to do so. So I just made project bags out of it. Anyway, this next start is Spooktacular Party by Counting Puddles. This is a pattern that just came out at the expo in like August or whatever. I am doing this on 32 count Fox and Rabbit Black Swan. I started in the middle on this pattern because that top left was a little scattered, so I figured it would be easier to start in the middle. I have done 549 stitches, which is 3.9%. That is the face of the like top pumpkin on it, or the mouth, the grin and the eyes. Next up, also in a bag that I made with dragonflies, is my June Quaker. I'll put a picture of what that will look like when it's finished here. Again, I'm doing these as part of 7 on the 8th for Julia. And I started this on Wednesday. Was that Wednesday? Yeah, November 8th. And I'm doing this one on 40 count coloring cotton in the Over the Moon colorway. That's where I've gotten so far. That is 542 stitches, which is 21.9%. These are pretty small. They're like 79 by 115, but of course they're Quaker motifs, so they're not full coverage. So my goal is to finish that by the end of the month. Excuse me. And then the last new start, I just started yesterday. This is actually what I'm calling my Veterans Day start, but because I'm going to the football game tomorrow, and today I knew I wanted to get this recorded, fluff flying, I went ahead and started it yesterday. This is in another bag by Sherry So Sweet. It's got made with Teresa Kogut kind of patriotic fabric. This is Let Freedom Ring by Leela Studio. I'll put a picture here of what it will look like because I have this electronically. And I decided to go ahead and start this one in the middle because I'm doing it on 40 count, picture this plus vellum. I am fitting it onto a fat quarter, which means that my top and bottom margins are only going to be about 1.5 inches. So I started in the middle to be sure that I don't have, extremely uneven margins on top and bottom. I didn't want to end up like 1/2 inch on the bottom because I started too low on the top. So that is like the base of the clock tower on the big building. Plus, starting in the middle also means that I don't leave that big building till, I've done all the top stuff. So I can work on it as I go. That is 502 stitches, which is 1.4%. And that one's still in the Q-snap because even though I've done my 500 stitches, I think I may work on it a little bit more before I put it away this month. I'm doing that with all of the called for, which is a mix of DMC and a few fancy flosses. I was going to say, I was trying to think, there was something else I was going to say about that. The reason I'm okay with 1.5 inch margins top and bottom for such a big piece like that is that I will not frame that. I will instead do more of what I think of as like a tapestry finish. I'll probably do, a fabric backed finish so that it's more of a wall hanging than a framed. So the 1.5 inch will be plenty for what I plan to do with it whenever it is actually finished. So that is everything for Quarters in Session. On the docket this month, I need to finish Sleepy Hollow Whip Go. My other Whip Go call for the month is Pandemic, so I need to get that out and get my 10 hours on that. I need to do a little bit more on my a peacock, unicorn, a badger, at least another 1,000 stitches on that, hopefully. I want to finish June Quaker and possibly Quaker Moon if I can. And then I have about 5 more new starts planned. which, you know, could always be more, but I have at least 5 that I have kind of like set dates to plan them. So, I mean, set dates to start them rather. So we'll see how it goes. There is in the U.S. we have Thanksgiving holiday 2 weeks from now, so I have a Thursday and Friday off work. Well, of course, Thanksgiving Day will be mostly tied up with family. We're going to my brother's, but he's only 30 minutes up the road, so it won't involve an overnight or anything. So I'll have a couple of extra days to get a little extra stitching in, and I think that's about it for On the Docket. So let's move on to stashing for retirement. Okay, actually don't have part of this first part. First order I'm gonna show you, but so our yarn hoarder Amber, who used to do a YouTube video podcast largely about knitting and the fiber arts, had not done it for years, but she has come back, but only through Patreon. So she is doing once a month a video on Patreon, and it's like $1 a month, half of which she donates to charity. And the videos are like 2 or 3 hours long. So I've started subscribing to her on Patreon. And she is the one that, if you followed me for a while, you know that I went through a potholder spurt where I was getting like a subscription club from Acorns and Threads, I think is the name of it. And I still have a couple of months of that I had not finished. But anyway, she's gotten back into the potholder thing, and it's gotten me back into the potholder thing, which sorta. Anyway, so I placed an order from Friendly Looms, which is the loom division of Harrisville Designs, and got a few more potholder looms in some colors that I and some of my family members will use. The loops I'm not going to show you, but the couple things I did order as part of the order I wanted to show you. I got this bag, which is just a bag that's got a front pocket that will hold my loom and the stuff. And then inside, I've got bags with stuff in it, but it's got some places inside to like corral your loops and stuff. I'm not going to show you. I also ordered this book so that I can try some different designs with kind of like a mosaic style. I'm looking out my window because the deer are crossing, and okay, I hope nobody gets, I'm going to see if I can turn this around. I don't know if I can turn it around while I'm recording. I can't redirect. There's a deer right outside my window. And I can't switch the video while I'm recording. I'm going to stop and see if I can. So anyway, you may or may not have just seen a little bit of video of the deer I'm looking at through my back window. When I go back, I took a little video. When I go back to look at it, from my perspective, watching it video, I think I was seeing a lot of screen and just vague shapes. So I may not have inserted it if it really wasn't very good. But the whole herd of deer just kind of came out of the woods and walked back behind my window here. Anyway, back to, I bought this book to try some different potholder patterns that are just not straight weave. I was looking for a bigger picture that didn't show the actual charts. So I thought I'd try that. And I've got probably, I think, three more months of boxes. Yeah, when I was getting those sorry, I'm trying to get this bag back over here out of the way. When I was getting those boxes, I kept up with them pretty good until the last few months, and then I kind of didn't keep up so well. So I think I have 3 more months to finish up, and then I have some other loops that are in, like I said, in colors that family and stuff. So I've got a box of these potholders I've done. Somebody's got to take them. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take some at Thanksgiving when I'm with my parents and my brother's family, and then probably at Christmas when I'm at my daughter's, and my son and his family are going to be up from Louisiana, and my in-laws, and just let people grab what they want, because I can't use them all. But anyway, I did also finish the last month I had worked on, I had done 3 of the 4, and so I pulled out and did the 4th, which was this. And then something that just came today from Amazon. So Amber had shown something similar to this that she ordered from Friendly Loom. But quite honestly, it was like 10 for, I don't know how much it was, but it was more cost effective to buy them off Amazon. Is these little wooden rings to add to them as hooking places. And I really like this because, one, not only does it give a hook other than just the loop hook, but it also kind of secures that corner. A lot of times what I'll do, if I think about it, is I'll just take some sewing thread and stitch the last loop kind of down so it doesn't come off. But this is kind of better because it'll keep it from completely coming off. So I just got from Amazon today a whole bag of these so I can put them on the ones I've already done and the ones I do in the future. So anyway, the rest of this haul is all cross-stitch related. First up, regular club stuff. This is Be Stitch Me. This was the October fabric. I get 40 count neutral. This is called Sugar Cream Pie. Just a good basic neutral piece of fabric that I will definitely find something to do with. I also ordered, I'm getting the Lola Crow Creepy Village ornaments, and when I get to like things I bought electronically, I'll show you the first 2 of those. But the called for those is Fox and Rabbit Elephant Run, and we could order it directly from Fox and Rabbit, so I did order a piece of 36 count, which took a while to get here, but it did get here. Not their fault, just, you know, it's coming from Australia, and then once it hit the U.S. and it came to Greensboro, and then it came to Sanford, and it was marked out for delivery, and then it went back to the post office, and then it went back to Greensboro, and then it came back to Sanford before they finally delivered it to me. So I don't know what was going on with that. And then I got my floss clubs from November from Pam at Stitch New England. I get Classic Color Works. I'm not going to take these out. Week Style Works, and then I get MPI, and this month these are all in the Williamsburg Blue range, and then the one on the end is the Northern Lights. So you get 5 regular MPI range, and then you get one of the Northern Lights. I placed an order from Hollis Hand Creates because they had the primitive hair We the People fabric that I wanted for my Lady of the Flag. That's going to be a new start sometime. If not by the end of the year, it may be my New Year new start. I haven't decided, but it's printed on there, and this is the size that will fit Lady of the Flag. And since I was ordering from them, I also ordered a piece of 40 count Fox and Rabbit oyster shell. I have a piece of this that I am doing Night Walk Down on. But I really just love this. This is the light is what making it look lighter than it actually is. But it is this is a neutral to me. I'm trying to find the right. That's a little better. It's got a purplish tint, but it's very, very neutral to me. But also very kind of leaning towards the Halloween-y type that I like. So, and while I was on there, I also ordered this, I think where I saw this was on Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph. I think this is one of Pam's 24 starts for 24, but I had never seen it before. I saw it on her. It was either their video or somebody else's. This is Chessie and Me Across the Sea sampler. And kind of a Rhode Island style sampler. And I just really like that. So I ordered that. Let's see what else. I ordered from 123 Stitch, I was ordering a bunch of DMC to finish kitting some stuff. And so, of course, I had to order some other stuff. I got this Buttons and Beads Wanda's Wands, the Mill Hill. And I ordered Plum Street Goody Grimwood. And I went ahead and ordered all the floss for that. From Barefoot Needle Arts in Surfside Beach, I got Casting a Spell, Blackbird Designs. This is a re-release or reprint. The new Brenda Gervais patterns, The Light of Winter. This is a companion to Winter Rose Manor, which I already have as a whip. I probably will not start this anytime real soon. I'm not real sure about those angels. I don't know. I may wait and see if anybody else comes up with something besides the angels to put up there. Peppermint and Pine. There's 3 birds, 1 owl, and yes, an owl is a bird. It's an owl, a northern cardinal, a barred owl, and a tufted titmouse. I do not know my birds. Snow Magical. Sorry for the glare, trying to find the right. And Reindeer Games. And I did not realize when I ordered this that this comes with the, now I don't know if it always comes with this or if it's just that that's the way Barefoot had it, but it came with the wooden forms that read this part back behind that's on. So, and then I just got from them this week Christmas Parade, which is the new Cottage Garden Samplings release, which is really cute. Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Is that the name of her program? Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Excuse me. Showed this on, it's the most recent one of hers that I watched. I'm not sure if that was her most recent one or the one before that, because I'm a little behind. And this is well beyond my current skill set when it comes to quilting, but I love it. And so, and it was hard to find now, so I went ahead and bought it so that I would have it hopefully for the future. This is called The Raven by Blackbird Designs. And that's it is applique quilting, which I have never done. I've done wool applique, which is different, but I have never done applique quilting. And I don't know if I will ever get around to making the entire quilt. But I could see for sure doing at least that middle one as like just a small little quilted something, or I don't know. I would love to have the entire quilt. I just don't know that I'll ever get around to doing it. But this book is the pattern for that. And like I said, it's just one of those things that I absolutely loved it. It's not something I'm going to do soon, I don't think, but it was kind of hard to find it in stock. It might be reprinted, I don't know, but you know, with Blackbird Designs, you just don't know. So I found this at Farm Girl Dry Goods. I don't know if they still have them or not, but it was kind of hard to find. I did find it, and so I snatched it up. The last thing that I have is, that I have physically, is I had ordered the Hearts for Pam Cottage Garden Threads pack bundle that they sold early this year as a fundraiser for Pam, their dyer, the mother who is going through cancer treatments. And I received that package. I got the entire bundle that had the floss and all the patterns and the extras. And so I'm going to show you briefly, kind of quickly through that. I'm not like I said, I'm going to show it really quickly, but I will show you all of that. So there were, I think, 10 flosses. So there's 4. All of the patterns. There's 2 more. 3 more. And all of the patterns use some or all of these. I don't know if any of them use all of them, but all of them use at least some of the flosses. There was a needle minder that says HFP for Hearts for Pam. We got a floss thing. We got this, which I was really confused about. But it's for a paper piecing project. That's one of the patterns in here. So the patterns are not all cross-stitch. Some of them are embroidery. And so I'm going to go real quick through them. Fig and Berry, Lovebirds. They were all supposed to be somewhat, you know, heart related. Petals and Patches, My Book Bag. Hearts Aflutter by Amy Kalissa. Molly and Mama, Ribbons and Roses Stitchery. Forage, Sweetheart. Ace of Swords by Bendy Stitchy. Fox and Rabbit, Bathtub of Blooms. Lindy Stitches, The Queen of Thread. The Blue Flower, Hearts for Pam. Darling and Whimsy, Stitch for a Friend with My Heart and My Hand. Sorry, these are the full size. Hare's Nest Stitchery. I don't see a name for this one. Jewel Hearts. So I don't know if you can, this is the one that this is for, because it's a paper piecing pattern. And I don't know if you can see, it's basically hearts that are interlocking. And that is the form for the paper piecing. Jeanette Douglas, Heart for Pam. Didn't mean to show the pattern. Hopefully I can blur that out or something. Rebel Stitcher Designs, Heartfelt Posy. Ink Circles, Hearts Entwined. A Hearty Cottage Garden by Hugs and Kisses. I was looking for the designer name. Mojo Stitches, Zelda's Heart, which says, nobody has ever measured, not even the poets, how much the heart can hold. Handlebar Stitcher, Love Bugs, and I think that this might be their first pattern and that they are somehow related to Cottage Garden Threads. Maybe that's the daughter, I'm not sure. Heart and Hand, Choose Hope. The chart's on the top of this, so I'm trying not to show that. The Witchy Stitcher, Anatomical Heart number 13. I think this is the last one. Yeah. Nope. Yes. I can't. Nope, it's not. One more. And then last, Jan Hicks Creates Hopeful Heart Prayer Flag. So those were all the patterns that came in the bundle with the floss. I don't remember how much it cost. I thought it was somewhat reasonably priced, $100 or something. And you know, it was for a good cause, so to speak. So I will play with those at some point. And then I have a few digital patterns that I've bought that I will put pictures of in as I talk. I mentioned the Creepy Christmas Village stitch along that Lola Crow is currently doing. ornaments 1 and 2 have come out, and I will put pictures of those in as I'm talking. I can't remember now. The one is like, I think, the creepy carolers, and then the one is a creepy house or haunted Victorian haunted house. And then I also bought a pattern called Ready for All Hallows Eve, which is a full coverage piece from Stitches Sew, S-E-W, beautiful, based on artwork by Joseph Holduck. It is licensed artwork, and I'll put a picture of that in. Then Autumn Lane, I can't remember if they were having a sale or what, but I bought several Autumn Lane patterns for some reason. Tonight We Ride, which is the pattern that was in somebody's box last year. I think maybe a Black Needle box, or somebody, maybe it was actually I think it was the Autumn Lane box last year or something, has been, released to the public. So I bought that, and I think maybe that was why I went to the website, and then I ended up buying a couple of other patterns. I also got Something Wicked This Way Comes, which I think is one I kind of either hadn't seen or hadn't noticed before. And then 2 that I had looked at before, Halloween Night, which is the one that Helen D did in the Bat Mirror. And I have the Bat Mirror, so I may use that pattern for that. And then I also bought Autumn Town, which is just one I've looked at for a long time and had never purchased. If you've watched this whole video, I mentioned earlier when I was showing September Sapphires, I had a brain fart and thought maybe I was thinking I might have purchased some more Carolyn Manning patterns because I knew I was looking at them, but I think I talked myself out of them for now. So I did not purchase those yet. So that is it for Stashing for Retirement. Calendar, the only thing crafty that is definitely on the agenda for the next several months is that I will be attending the Barefoot Needle Art Beach Retreat in February in Surfside Beach, or Myrtle Beach is actually the hotel where it is. Their shop is in Surfside Beach. I will be there the first weekend of February. That is the only definite plans that I have. Possible plans, a couple of my friend Michelle and I are talking about maybe doing Maryland Sheep and Wool in May. And we'll see about that. I also called today and put myself on the wait list for Stitching at the Farm next November. Stitching at the Farm just got done in New Hampshire this past weekend. I think it was this past weekend or the weekend, but I think it was last weekend. I've never been to that event, but I hear great things about it. So I figured I'd go ahead and get my name on the wait list. And I looked it up. Driving, it is about the same distance as what I drove to go to Pam's retreat at Stitch New England this year, which I will not be able to attend next year because of other things going on that weekend. So I figured it's just a little bit different route, and it takes me right near Webb, so I might have to make a pit stop if I get in. So we'll, that's something I probably won't know till next fall whether or not somebody had to cancel and a room opens up. So anyway, that's about it. If you're in the U.S., I probably will not record again until after Thanksgiving. I might record my glasses are sliding back my head. I possibly may record Thanksgiving weekend. If not, it would probably be the weekend after that. So 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully, before you see me again. If I don't see you before Thanksgiving and you're in the U.S., I hope you have a nice Thanksgiving, and enjoy some time with family or friends, whichever works for you. And I think that's about it. If you have any questions, I didn't mention, I always have a spreadsheet below that has all my cross-stitch projects with like fabric and at least some general information, like whether I'm using the called for floss. Also, you can find me on Ravelry's Legal Eagle. I have project pages for all my knitting projects. If those don't answer any questions you have, please leave a comment, or in the link tree that's linked below is an email address. You can email me. And that's about it. So I appreciate you checking me out, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, y'all. I don't know if you can see. It's probably too blurry. And there's another one that just came out. Oh, there's more of them. Oh, the whole herd's coming through. I'm sorry for the graininess because I can tell through the screen that there's not a lot of quality there, that you're seeing mostly screen.